Yes.
I'm sorry, Ian.
I'm ready.
You're so antsy today. Welcome to the Completely Unnecessary Podcast.
I had more caffeine this morning than I usually do. That's why.
For Tuesday, April 12th, 2022 is Cadbury Cream Egg season. That's Ian Ferguson. I'm Pat Contry. On the show today, we'll be talking about an Amico price hike, fun times, Morbius.
Shocking.
Morbius again. Sora's big feet are gone, and other fun stuff. We went over some of our weekend on the exclusive podcast.
We did.
At patreon.com/CU podcast. I got hacked.
Pat got hacked. We also had a little
food poisoning. Retrospective.
Yeah, a little chat about food poisoning. Neither of us had food poisoning this past weekend though, so that's good. We're fine. We're fine. We know you're upset.
I got a haircut. You didn't comment on my haircut.
I don't comment on haircuts. I just don't notice them.
Okay.
Well, yours, it is a little tighter. A little tighter.
It has to be because the hair was...
It's tough for me to notice haircuts on people with curly hair.
Oh, is that why?
Yeah, because there's a lot of volume.
Got my mom's hair, thankfully.
It's nice, though. It's nice. It's nice curly hair. It's good.
Thank you, Ian.
It's good. It really... I bet you it impresses the ladies. I did see Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Speaking of impressing the ladies.
Part 2, impressing the ladies. I did. I had to take Vonnie out for that, of course.
The first one was a Valentine's Day date. I remember you told me a couple years ago.
It was like
right before all hell broke loose.
Yeah. It was the last movie I saw in theaters, and I thought for a long time there that it was going to be the Sonic 2 might be the first movie I saw in theaters back, but I got dragged out for Halloween and I think one other movie last year. I can't remember what. Sonic 2 was a lot of fun. If you wanted it to be more video gamey than the first one, you got it. There's more video game references, more video game type stuff. The way they bring in Knuckles and Tails makes sense. The movie knows that it's just a video game movie and doesn't really dwell too long on it. It gets right into things. I'm always impressed by the...
What do you mean? Why would it dwell on it? What do you mean?
Like, it didn't spend a lot of time like building up how to get back into the story. It was like, hey, we're back, and we're right into the story. Like,
okay. They didn't have to recap or reintroduce.
Yeah, it was very.
They know who's seen this movie.
It was quick. It quickly got back into it. So yeah, it was fun. It's a video game movie. Jim Carrey was good. It's gonna be enjoyed by kids. It's enjoyable by adults. It's not like high art, but it's way better than video game movies have been.
Let me see the Rotten Tomatoes on that.
Rotten Tomatoes, I think, is 67, and I think the
audience score is always high.
Viewer score is 97, 98.
67, all right. That's not bad.
No.
That's fresh. 60 is the threshold for fresh.
What was most interesting to me is the amount of time they actually spent on the human characters in this, which...
Was it less than the first?
No, it's more. A little bit more. There's a long segment that's pretty funny that involves a wedding.
The first, okay, real quick. The first one was an hour 40. This is over 2 hours. 2 hours and 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I know.
Well, you got a lot more characters, I guess. You got to.
Yeah, they added 2 brand new characters that everyone wanted to make sure had screen time. Like that was something I was worried about going in, that Knuckles was going to have like 5 minutes of screen time, or Tails was only going to be in there briefly. No. They were there.
You were worried about, that was a concern.
They were there for the whole movie. Yes, Pat, people like movies and they watch them. And they have concerns and hopes. And what was I going to say? Oh, I think the humans actually help it. I think if they had to run on a video game premise or a video game story the entire time, I think they would burn out of ideas or things to do with the critters. That said, it was fun. Go see it. I still don't think the Mario movie is going to be very good.
Well, based upon the voice actors, they're just...
The direction that they're going in. It's one of those things where obviously Nintendo wants to make money off these characters and they see a movie as a good way to do it. But I think what Sonic does right is that they make sure that they get the character accurate. And because of that, you can kind of put them into anything.
Mario doesn't have a character. That's the problem.
Yes, exactly.
He isn't a character since the cartoons 30 years ago.
Well, and that's the problem with a lot of video game movies is that there is no character. There's a world. There might be a story, but when you throw the character in there, especially in something like, for instance, Silent Hill, which the first Silent Hill movie was okay. because these characters are played by you, they have the least amount of dialogue, so they've got to build this character,
Sure.
and so often it goes wrong. Sonic, unlike Mario, Sonic has a character. They've been working on a Sonic character for
They've had tons of cartoons.
Cartoons. So people already know what to expect from it. So as long as they get that right, they've already seen this character in so many different iterations that they can accept one more retelling of the story as long as they know the main character. And that's what Sonic does properly.
Mario is like Mickey Mouse with less personality. Like there's like no personality to Mario.
Right.
He says a couple of words. Yahoo! They took away any notion of him being Italian at this point. They said he's
other than the accent.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
That's a goal.
It's a me.
Which was like, it was just like almost insulting how it's become
Yes.
like that. But then like he's 26 years old randomly instead of like a grown ass man, which everyone always thought was how it always was portrayed. And then like that's the character. There's no character. There's no character to Mario. There isn't.
If you ask me how old Mario was, I would say 40. Mario is like
45.
40. He is a 40-year-old man.
A rough 40. A rough 40, I would say. Did you see the winner of the speaking? I'm not going on the guys from Jersey. The winner of the Masters, Scotty Scheffler.
I did not.
I thought he was 4 years old, the 25-year-old kid, and he looks like he was 40. I was like, wow. It's interesting how some people just look their features like with the chin and everything looks a lot older. Doesn't have our baby face features.
Speaking of movies, it looks like Morbius has the worst second weekend drop for a superhero movie. That's impressive. I don't think anyone expected it.
I thought that this made too much money the first week. There's no way this is going to keep up from the quality of this garbage.
No, everyone who wanted to see it, they went out and saw it.
There's still goth kids. All the goth kids and emo kids went the first weekend.
I don't think they cared.
Well, you know who's in high school. High school is always the kids that are into this.
Okay.
I was gonna say they hang out at that mall store anymore. That
Hot Topic.
Is there Hot Topic anymore?
There are Hot Topics.
There's still kids that go there that probably saw this. He's in a band that people like. What was it? Something to Mars.
30 seconds to your mom.
Don't you tell my mom.
Morbius brought in $2.95 million at the start of its second weekend at the domestic box office, marking a record 83% drop from the previous Friday. So for the second weekend overall, Morbius is headed towards a 9.9 million gross.
So this will probably, here's the thing, the budget wasn't that big on this movie, but I don't think it's still going to make enough money for
I think it was 75 million.
So then you add marketing. So remember,
39 million was the opening weekend. You add another 10. So let's say this does 60 million. You're still not making any money back.
Remember out there, folks, the
marketing and all that too.
The rule of thumb is that the studios get only about half of ticket sales.
Right.
Well, about half overall. So it's like you have to do double the budget to break even, plus the marketing budget, which could be anywhere from 50% to sometimes 100% of the movie budget for this. How many fucking commercials do you see for Morbius? I saw constant Morbius commercials.
I literally don't ever watch TV.
So like they marketed this. So the good news is that this will probably not warrant a sequel.
No.
The bad news is that they already brought in the Vulture from the MCU and ruined that, and they're going forward with the Madam Web and Craven movies that no one will see those movies. Like Morbius is something that people go, okay, it's Morbius. It's a vampire. How are they going to sell you Craven the Hunter? He hunts big game. He's not a protagonist. He's hunting rhinos, and he fucking has a goddamn like leopard vest with the head on it. Like, I don't want to watch that guy. He's an interesting villain, but that's not a protagonist, a poacher, for God's sake. What, Sony, what do you... Okay, I'm sorry.
Sonic made 71 million in its opening weekend.
Because that's a likable character. I may not be into it, but it's a likable character.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Craven's not a likable character.
Jesus, Michael Bay's Ambulance debuted at 8.7 million in fourth place on its opening weekend.
I kind of feel bad because I actually had an interesting premise to it, and it's like it's a non-genre movie at least, and it has Jake Gyllenhaal looks like he looks out of his mind in the movie, and Jake's always good for these sort of roles. That looks interesting. The whole thing takes place in the ambulance, basically.
Right.
Oh, that's low? 8 million for the first day? I guess it is.
For its opening weekend, it was fourth place.
Oh, that's for the whole weekend?
That's for its weekend.
Not poor Michael Bay, but that's bad.
I'm not worried about Michael Bay.
That's a bad opening weekend.
Yes.
Because that was a lot of commercials for that too. I think, you know what hurt that? The name sucks. Ambulance is not a good name for like an action. It just isn't. A lot of times the name is like ambulance. What is that about?
Makes me think of Phone Booth, and I hated that fucking movie.
Is that the one with
Colin Farrell?
He's got to be on the phone booth the whole movie.
Fucking hate.
Is it a real time movie or no?
Yeah, it's 87 minutes.
It's a real time movie.
Yeah, and it's short,
like Nick of Time with Johnny Depp.
Feels like too long.
Not many real time movies. Those are interesting. Like once every like 4 or 5 years, I do like a real.
I like the idea. I never watched 24, but I always thought the idea of 24 was interesting. The fact that it takes place over 24 real-time hours.
I don't think that show was on for like 9 years, 8 years. I never watched one full episode ever.
The initial season was interesting, but after that, I was like,
how are you going to do this for 8 years?
Yeah, how are you going to do 8 of these?
Like 1 day event. Right. Then what happens if like you got to like travel somewhere? Like what? Are you not there those 2 hours of the season? What happened to Kiefer Sutherland? Oh, I saw him in a trailer for something recently, I believe. Anyway,
you're eating worms, Michael.
World of Tanks. Announced this is Wargaming. They do World of Tanks is a huge game that I'm not overly familiar with.
No, it's a big free to play game.
Yes, and obviously their assets got stolen for an unfortunate game last year
for tank
battle whatever. So this is fairly big news. They announced that they're going to leave Russia and Belarus where their operations were, and they were out of there as of the end of March. So they were gone. They're like, we're not putting up with this. We don't want to be around this. They transferred its live games business in Russia and Belarus to local management of Leicester Studio that is no longer affiliated with Wargaming. The company will not profit from this process either today or going forward. Much to the contrary, we expect to suffer some substantial losses as a direct result of this decision. This was their press release. So take them at their word. They're done. They're done playing around with 2 nations that are invading Ukraine. So there you go. They're putting their money where their mouth is. And they're going to start closing their other studio, they said, in Belarus. There you go.
All right.
That's the way you got to put pressure on them.
Yeah. Capcom Arcade Stadium 2 is announced. Not a whole lot to say about this right now. It's going to be yet another collection of their classic arcade games. There was one released 2 years ago, and it started with basically you downloaded it. It gave you a free copy of 1943, I believe.
It got you a little taste, and then you had to buy the other ones.
And then you bought the other ones in packs. There was a lot of good games on there, but a lot of games I'd already played, so I didn't really dive into it. But there were some notable standouts like Pro Gear, which is a horizontal shooter that was arcade only.
You had ones like, just real quick in the first one, you had stuff like Legendary Wings, Trojan, Bionic Commando, Forgotten Worlds, Ghouls and Ghosts, a lot of those early Genesis ones. Strider, Merc, Street Fighter, the original Street Fighter 2 and Turbo, Hyper, and then like the 19X other X games.
And then it had all the beat-em-ups that were in the beat-em-up bundle as well.
Captain Commando Final Fights there.
Most of them. Armored Warriors, I think, was in there.
Yeah, that one's there. A few of them.
Yeah. So the new one is announced. They haven't given a list of games yet, but I believe the free game is going to be Sun, which is a horizontally scrolling monkey shooter.
Monkey shooter.
And then they announced a puzzle game that I have not ever seen before. I don't think I've even heard of it. That looks kind of cute. That will be a bonus if you pre-order the fighting game pack that they've got coming out.
It's a little bunny.
It's called Three Wonders. It's
a little bunny. It's like almost like a Kiko Cubicle little boxy thing.
Yeah, or a Pungo type of deal.
Yeah, it's adorable. Here's the deal, though. You look at the first pack of games, there's a lot of Capcom classics in there. You got Commando, 42, 43, Ghost. The well's gonna run dry potentially.
I think this is Sun's not a shooter.
It's not
Monkey King is a shooter.
It's not a monkey shooter. A monkey shooter.
Monkey. That's Monkey King. Sun does involve a monkey though.
Okay, just make sure.
I think Capcom's got a deep enough library that they've probably got interesting and worthwhile stuff to play. The main reason I didn't buy into the first collection much is because it's all shit we've seen before.
But like I said, like these are like top of my head. They're not going to give away like the really great games that they can sell separately. They're not going to give away like the fighting games because those are their own packs.
Oh, sure.
So like outside of this first one, I mean Section Z's on this first one. Like these are the ones that would have made like video game years sort of stuff. A lot of these games.
Sure.
You know. So outside of that, it's like okay, what do you got? Some more beat 'em ups that already been re-released. Maybe we'll see. But it's kind of telling. There's no list yet of games for it. That's
sure.
all. None at all. They announced Kingdom Hearts 4. I guess the remake did well enough.
Remake, the third one.
Third one.
I mean, they just keep remaking and re-releasing. But
I thought they did a remake.
Is only like 2 years old, 3 years old.
They do a remake?
They did. They've done like 50 billion remakes. But
okay,
the most
50
recent
billion?
like big thing was Part 3.
Well, plus, it had it got into the video game Hall of Fame. Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Sure.
So people are complaining that Sora's big feet are gone.
I don't know why you wanted to cover this, but
I think it's
apparently
funny.
the design has changed. Sora used to have extraordinarily large kicks, like clown shoes, and those are gone. He is now wearing what could only be described as human-sized sneakers.
Human-sized sneakers.
Human-sized
So
sneakers.
people with that foot fetish are disappointed. It was a funny little thing. There's a picture here showing the bare feet on a couch. That was shown. That's an official Square Enix shot.
I don't think so. Is it really?
It says screenshot Square Enix / Kotaku.
Wow, unfortunate.
This might be a thing. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole of Sora's feet. This could be an actual thing out there that you don't want to get into, but you do want to visit. You do want to visit ultimatenintendo.com. You absolutely do. There's nothing feet related, but you have great items like what's your face?
Just a funny thing. Giving Sora normal sized shoes and feet is the most fucked up thing you could do after 20 years of this, explained Chris Person, former Kotaku video producer and host creator of Highlight Reel. They better fucking explain where his big shoes went. Like they better go to Shoe World and all the shoes are emo and kind of sad.
See, it was interesting enough. You derailed my plug. Yes, that's right.
Well,
Ian.
you asked about my face, so I explained it.
Well, we're going into the plug portion. The plug portion, that can be something else.
The plug portion.
UltimateNintendo.com. You got the certain NES guidebooks.
No plugs there yet.
Hey, there's only 4 Yoshi prints left of the Combat limited print to
4.
22. 4.
Get 'em.
We're down
Get
to
'em.
4. We just sold a T-shirt. We just sold a My Man T-shirt. My Man, and stickers, enamel pins. It's a blast at ultimatenintendo.com. I'll be on Twitch Wednesday night. Ian will not be there. Twitch.tv/Country Code for the best in 70s, 80s, and 90s commercials. And I'm on Cameo, cameo.com/PatCountry. And I'm going to be at Midwest Gaming Classic, April 30th and May 1st at the end of the month in beautiful Milwaukee, Wisconsin. My first time in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
You'll have fun. It's a good convention. I've been there before.
You love SNK, don't you, Ian?
Yeah, I do, but I don't love this latest fucking development. 96% of the company is now owned by Electronic Gaming Development Company, which is a fancy way of saying Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia.
The Crown Prince.
Yeah. Guy who has people murdered. Sawed up.
The guy that was buddy with Jared Kushner and is now investing in Kushner's it's like a payback thing happened with some investment firm that just came out. In return for, we'll just hack some American resident to death in a fucking consulate.
Yeah, just
like
a little
that.
thing that has to go on every once in a while.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, yeah, this is upsetting. I have not... And this started about a year ago. This article from Kotaku does mention that it was in 2020, I believe, or even as recent as 2021, they had acquired like a 26% share. Mm-hmm. And people were concerned, and I think people, I think people wanted to look on the bright side, and they're like, okay, this is probably like a stock market portfolio sort of thing, whatever, they ended up with this, and easy come, easy go, maybe they'll sell it off in exchange for something else soon. It doesn't look like that, and I had not known that there was actually an electronic gaming development company that Mohammed bin Salman was running. He's trying to get more developers, more development going in Saudi Arabia. It says that they spent the last year throwing money around the video game industry with investments in companies like Activision, Blizzard, Electronic Arts, Take-Two Interactive, Capcom, and Nexon. These are all smaller investments, whereas obviously SNK is, at this point, it's a full takeover.
How about they invest in human rights? That'd be great.
That'd be nice.
For Saudi Arabia. That'd be fantastic.
So I have not played King of Fighters 15 yet, and I will continue to not, because this is kind of like a hard line for me.
Sure. It's like this guy owns it. You don't want to be involved. That's fine. The purchase this was interesting to me. The shares, like for the other, I guess, almost 2/3 that they bought, remaining 430 million USD. So this is all public stock. Then that's it. So that's a lot of money for SNK. 430 million to get like the rest of those. That's a lot.
Yep.
I
feel bad for the people working there. It was said when they initially invested that I heard rumblings that the people who work there were very disappointed. I don't know what's going to happen with SNK now that he owns 96% of it. I don't know what the future holds for them.
Yeah, they're going to start throwing money around and make themselves look better. There's supposedly, according to this Kotaku article, there's These purchases fall within the Saudi Vision 2030 strategy established during his mid-decade rise to power, which on paper is meant to diversify the kingdom's oil-centric economy. In reality, however, Saudi Vision 2030 is largely a propaganda campaign focused on whitewashing Saudi Arabia's atrocious human rights record. So they're hoping that getting in the entertainment industries will help soften that a little bit. So
yeah, they want to soften their image, not change their image.
I don't think you can change it.
Yeah, it's upsetting.
It's upsetting. Sorry about that, Ian. You're a big SNK fanboy, and that kind of sucks.
Oh, yeah, no, it blows. Metal Slug Tactics looks really good, too, but that's another one I will have to miss.
Ubisoft is already starting to abandon some of their NFT crap, their court shit that they started only like in November, December. It couldn't last 6 months. It's interesting. We talked about how, remember you said like there was like a number like 27 people bought these fucking NFTs.
I mean, so I think it's funny that they like so
digits, what they were called, digits. These are like pants and gun skins and helmet shit with money attached to it through this in-game NFT currency garbage.
So this is from Forbes. On the Ubisoft Quartz Digits site, there's a separate message congratulating those who have claimed Breakpoint NFTs as having left your mark on history. The message also promises more NFT drops. Thank you to all Ghost Recon Breakpoint players who claimed their first digits. You own a piece of the game and have left your mark on its history. As the last digit for Ghost Recon Breakpoint was released on 3/17/2022. Stay tuned for more updates with features to the platform and future drops coming with other games. They could have sent that out personally to all 27 people.
They could have just hand wrote letters.
They could have knocked that out in a lunch break.
They could have got some little vacation little postcards and got them there. So obviously this went bust. People were not happy. People have roundly rejected NFTs in games, thankfully. Here's the issue: is that you can't stop supporting these games with these NFTs because then the game falls apart and the marketplace crashes. Hence the whole reason why this is a bad idea.
Well, they talk a little bit about how it's one of the broken promises. It shows that this doesn't work. These NFTs are supposed to be like the whole pitch is that these transfer everywhere. You can use them anywhere in the metaverse. This is just dead DLC now. And you can sell the receipt that you have it, but who the fuck wants it if
no one's
not
gonna buy
doing
it.
anything?
No one's going to buy it.
Yeah. So all the talk of, you can use these NFTs to make money once you cash out, you can't. Once the game's
dead,
this DLC is dead, just like everything else. And they're talking about how there's going to be more NFT drops for other games, meaning that these NFTs are only going to stick to the game that they're released for, which makes it functionally indistinct from DLC. You can't transfer it anywhere. You can't do anything. The only difference is you could sell the receipt for the NFT.
So here's the timeline. This game comes out, Ghost Recon Breakpoint came out October 2019. 2 years later, then they get their NFT shit going, and then less than 6 months after that, we're done supporting this game. The game's not even supported for 2. So you've
been fucking had.
Well, those 40 people, who bought them, who got into it. So in the future, any game that once they announce, again, either the game has to be supported for like a huge long amount of time, but again, it goes back to the salient quote that someone said: "You never want to be the last person owning the NFT." And in all these games, at all these games, there's always going to be a last person.
It's hot potato.
Someone has to own an NFT at some point. It doesn't, because you can't use it for anything. You can't consume it. It's used for something. So the last person's always going to get screwed, whether it's a game like this where they say we're not supporting it anymore, or say the players, as soon as like a significant amount of players leave a marketplace, you crash the economy and what you bought into is worthless. Someone is always left holding the digital bag, so to speak, with this shit. Get in early.
Right.
Well, the people that got in early here, money's gone. Sorry. And whoever bought them for potentially more or less money, their money's gone too. Maybe the first person got out with a small loss. Goddamn, NFTs suck ass, and I'm so glad that they're finally like the people. There's got to be crashing at this point. They have to be.
Yeah,
they have to be.
It was so hard for me to bite my lip. I saw a dude wearing his Bored Ape Yacht Club hoodie to get breakfast the other morning.
Like in person, you saw one of these individuals, one of the 400,000 people in the world that are into this.
Yeah. wearing it was just a basey hoodie. It didn't have any NFT monkey on it, so I don't know if he's a holder or not.
I mean, are you allowed to like print your NFT on a sweatshirt? Is that what they do?
Oh, you own it. Well, the first thing I want to do with this fucking great technology where we don't have to own anything is turn it into an item that I can touch and own.
Well, that's the whole point with them. It's like you're buying into an ecosystem
Yeah.
of like merchandising. That's like how they get you in, because otherwise just saying you own a digital receipt pointing to an image doesn't mean anything. It's a whole business opportunity. I saw some of they did that the ape thing animated like cartoon.
Oh, it's so bad.
I couldn't get through it.
I watched like
I had to watch
10 seconds of it. The animation was miserable.
Animation is miserable. The jokes aren't jokes. They're just saying things that people think might be funny in a funny way. It's awful. I mean, awful. Go watch it out there if you haven't seen it. Just for saying, like, this is the result of this is the minds behind the NFTs, that this is the entertainment they can make. It's terrible. You know what's been a terrible the past years? Atari's been terrible.
Atari's been terrible.
Besides hash rights, anything outside of and these recharge games have been good.
Maybe the recharge.
They've done two good things in like 15 years. Atari.
Maybe.
So the Atari COO Fred Arzt stepped down and did an interview.
It's Michael Arzt.
Michael.
Freddie is Chesney.
Fred Chesney.
This is Michael Arzt.
Fred Chesney is the one trying to do the fucking NFT stuff in the casino.
Yeah, they shoved him off into the crypto room, and they were like, "Listen, Freddie."
Michael was the one behind
Play with your toys.
The Atari VCS.
Yes.
Which he might think is a success. That's an interview he did that on Season Gaming. He looks like he's doing it from his house office right there. But he did a statement on LinkedIn, basically because he's stepping down. It's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. It's time to recharge. After 5 years of nonstop hustle at Atari, it's time for change. Thursday, March 31st was my last day at the company. What an amazing opportunity. Blah, blah, blah. So he basically came on, because 2017 is when they fucking announced this disastrous VCS.
Yeah.
It was 5 years ago already. It's 5 years ago they did that. He addresses that. Trolls called it a hoax, a scam, vaporware, underpowered Android garbage. It wasn't underpowered, but it's still garbage.
Yes.
And it wasn't Android. It was actually
Linux.
Some Ryzen chip or whatever. I don't fucking know. And many other terrible and completely incorrect things. They did their absolute best to convince the industry that it was never happened. That Atari was a band of crooks, and everyone that contributed to the original Indiegogo campaign would lose their money. That's bad grammar. I always knew they were wrong. I built an amazing team that was willing to follow, held the course, and delivered something authentic and real to the community. In December 2020, in the thick of a pandemic-fueled part shortage, the Atari VCS started landing on backers' doorstep, blah, blah, blah. Okay. He's trying to rewrite history here a little bit.
Yes.
Ian, do you see what's wrong with that right there? When was the original release date of the VCS supposed to have been?
2019, I think. Right? 2018?
I thought it was 2018.
Okay.
I'm going to go check it right now. So if this was run competently, it would have came out before the pandemic. So don't tell me about, we have a shortage of parts happening. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, this was supposed to launch before the pandemic. And then it goes on to breathlessly state, in December 2020, in the thick of a pandemic-fueled parts shortage, the Atari VCS started landing on backers' doorsteps. The hardware was beautiful and well-built, and the early adopters were finally admiring the real wood we'd promised. Okay, great. We delivered the basics at the beginning. Yeah, VCS Vault, Andstream Arcade, a few great indie games to play. Backers were thrilled for the most part. They gave us their sincere thanks and their precious feedback. YouTubers started loading them up with Windows and Steam and emulators. Bottom line was that despite the enormous headwinds, Atari delivered what it promised, and it was legit. I don't know that that's true either. The Atari VCS took a hard turn midway through its marketing to really focus on the sandbox aspect of it.
Yes.
Because I think they realized that there wasn't going to be a console aspect to it.
No, there wasn't going to be a bunch of games that were going to be made exclusively for this console. Wasn't going to happen.
Since then, there have been many more great games and apps added to the Atari VCS, none of which, by the way, are proprietary or first party or exclusive to the VCS.
You can get it everywhere else.
Right. Including the ability to play literally any cloud gaming service, Xbox games on an Atari, because almost anything can run cloud gaming. and slowly but steadily improving reviews from both press and the community. While the VCS following may still be modest, it is deeply engaged, and then he talks about how he's moving on. Here's the deal. There's no like user base. This isn't an economy. It's something that people buy one and they're done. They usually make something out of it. And this is, again, something that I've been troubled to see, where success is determined by getting something out, not by how it actually does.
Sure.
If you were to use that as a determination of success, this is a flop. A pointless flop.
Oh, I'm sorry. It was supposed to come out Q2 of 2019. So they were
Okay,
a year and a half behind schedule.
Yeah.
Year and a half. They announced it in 17. They did their campaign in 18. So 2 years after the Kickstarter, excuse me, Indiegogo is when it came out. And again, why was it an Indiegogo? Because they might not have had a prototype there. One of my biggest complaints about this, you remember that first shiny, well-produced video with some influencers? We have no clue what the hell they played. No clue what they played back in that first video. Sure. No clue. That could have been an Android box or something else. That wasn't finalized hardware. You know why we know that? Because they had a tiff with an engineer they fired in the middle of all this. Part of the delay. An engineer went after them for money.
Yeah.
The original architect of the system went after them for money. We covered that on the podcast. So I don't appreciate this sort of combative statement. Oh, look at all we done in the face. Like you fucking mismanaged this.
Yeah.
Is it Michael? Michael, you mismanaged this a bit. What was it? $350, $400 the original cost to on this fucking thing?
Yeah, like insane.
Since then, there have been many more great games and apps added to the Atari VCS. Several OS updates. Great. You did what you were supposed to do.
Yeah, exactly.
You did the bare fucking minimum, Michael. And
not gonna fucking clap for it.
This is the one thing you did at Atari that we know about that of any worth was the VCS. Really? Was these recharge games? That's not. I mean, you hire someone to make those games. That's whatever.
Sure,
that's fine. What else did you do? And then some of the comments congratulating him. You did an amazing job at Atari. What a ride. Whatever. It's annoying. And I wonder if we're going to get a goodbye note like this for another ex-CEO of a gaming company.